Don't you just love it? Don't you just love it when you're trying to go on Facebook Live and all of a sudden your iPhone falls down? So that'll be something to watch in the archives on 1420 NBC Sports Radio Tri-Cities. Hey, told you that I would break down the Tusculum-ETSU game. We talked about a Marky's monologue. Read about it in Medium. I think that's the game to watch today, not any of these high school tournaments. But what I will tell you is the key thing to watch here, in my opinion, will be the leading scorer of Tusculum, and it's Peyton Woods. Peyton's got about 16, or Peyton, a guy from Tennessee named Peyton. What do you think? Peyton Woods, 16 points a game for the Pioneers. They're only 3-9, so, I mean, it's really, long shot. Tusculum hasn't beaten ETSU since 51. This is a D2 against a D1. Come on. If ETSU does lose this game, heads are going to roll. DeSanta Bradford, by the way, continues to be the leading scorer and rebounder, only returning starter this year for the Bucks on what has become a very deep team. A very deep team. I say that all the time. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about this. The idea that I'm looking at is Peyton Woods with those 16 points for Tusculum. How much is he shut down? I think that's kind of that's the real storyline that I think of the game. That would be, as well as how many players play. Does Dylan Reppert get in for ETSU from Johnson City? Things like that. But Woods, how many points he get? If he can increase that 16-point a game average, then I think Tusculum's got to feel good about themselves coming out of this game. I am the guy who doesn't really like moral victories. If Tusculum blows a 22-point lead in this one, they ought to be unhappy with a loss. I'll go that far, okay? But nevertheless, Bucks have won 6 out of 7, except for the game in which they blew a 22-point lead to the Xavier Musketeers. So there you are. I don't see a 22-point advantage at any time for Tusculum. I'm sorry, Pioneers fans. Hey, wanted to tell you about NFL playoff possibilities, and I mentioned I would get to this. The scenarios are listed on 1420 NBC Sports Radio Tri-Cities, and you can read about that. But I would look at this here as we look at the paths that remain for every team. It's very simple for Tennessee. Win and you're in. Lose, you hope that and I've said this, that the Bills and the Chargers both lose, but even then, you're 8-8 going to a team of second stringers that you just lost to. Patriots win, they've got the number 1 seed. If the Steelers beat the Browns and the Patriots somehow lose to the Jets, how that's going to happen, I don't know. I think the Steelers will beat the Browns, don't get me wrong. Then you will see Steelers with the number 1 pick number 1 seed in the AFC, pick AFC and all that. Bills to get in, they've got to win their game. The Bills play the Dolphins in Miami. If they lose it, they're out. They've got to win that game and then hope that the Chargers beat the 6-9 Raiders in Los Angeles, where all the Raiders fans are going to be. Let's face it, there are no more Chargers fans. They're all flying signs. They've also got to hope that the Titans lose to Jacksonville, who will be playing their second stringers in Nashville. That's probably not going to happen. Baltimore, if they beat the Bengals, and that's probably going to happen, they're in. How do they get in if they lose? Well, this is kind of interesting. The Bills have to win, and the Jaguars have to win. Or if the Jaguars win and the Titans win, then the Ravens are in. Ravens, I suppose, win tiebreakers with the Chargers. Figure that one out. Okay. By the way, Jaguars have clinched the number 3 seed. Chiefs have clinched the number 4 seed. They're actually going to start not Alex Smith, but rather the rookie Pat Mahomes out of Texas Tech, his first NFL start in their football game this week. Who do they play? They take on the Broncos. Okay. So scheduling purposes and all that. Vikings really are going to be the number 2. It really looks like they're going to be the number 2 seed. They play the Bears at home. You really see the Bears beating the Vikings? I mean, come on. They get the number 2. But guess what, Panthers fans? Yes, the Carolina Panthers can be the number 2 seed if all these things happen. Panthers beat the Falcons. Buccaneers beat the Saints, which isn't going to happen. The 49ers beat the Rams, which isn't going to happen. And the Bears beat the Vikings, which isn't going to happen. Then the Panthers could be the number 2 seed in the playoffs and get a bye. And if that all does happen, I think then the Panthers will probably go to the Super Bowl. I mean, why not? Yeah. Anyway, Falcons, it's a win and you're in. If they lose and the Cardinals beat the Seahawks, they're in. If the Seahawks win and the Falcons lose, and they're in. Rams can not get a bye. If they win, they're the number 3 seed. If the Rams somehow lose the 49ers, who I guess are hot with Garoppolo, and the Buccaneers beat the Saints, and the Falcons win, then the Rams can still be the number 3 seed. You got all that? Okay, these are the playoff scenarios. Chargers to make it, they got to win. Doesn't really matter what the Bills do. Titans got to lose. Chargers play, as we said before, the Ravens. Bills have to hope for both. I've mentioned this, losses by the Titans, which I don't see happening, and the Chargers, which I don't see happening. And they beat the Dolphins, which could happen. Saints can't get a bye. They will probably get the number 3 seed with a victory against the Bucs, which I think is going to happen. If the Rams beat the 49ers, they get the number 4 seed with a victory. And if the 49ers beat the Rams with Garoppolo, anything is possible, then the Saints would be your number 3 seed. I'll see you tomorrow with Steve Forbes. Colin Cowherd is next on Tri-City Sports Now. So long, everyone.
WBMB Irwin, 14.
Star quarterback in the NFL. But you got to lead men. And when you can lead men, you'll work better. It ain't close. With Sam Darnold.
A new day in the herd. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys can laugh at me all you want. This